Hello and welcome to Business Show. My name is Joy Iramaseli. The World Bank has projected that inflation may hit 25% in 2023 as a result of petrol subsidy removal. This projection was contained in the June 2023 edition of the Nigerian Development Update. However, the Washington-based bank noted that although there will be significant increase in 2023, headline inflation will fall by the first quarter of 2024. The report read that the removal of the petrol subsidy is anticipated to cause a temporary increase in inflation in the upcoming months before contributing to disinflation in the medium term. The price increases resulting from the subsidy removal will have a one-time impact on prices, primarily affecting petrol purchases for transportation, power generation, and certain services. The National Bureau of Statistics recently disclosed that inflation in the country rose to 22.41% in May, which is the highest in about 19 years. The World Bank report also noted that consumer price inflation has surged and is currently one of the highest globally, which is related to Nigerians' fiscal imbalance and points to the urgency of reform efforts. It added that the CBN implemented measures to control rising inflation, including raising the monetary policy rates by 700 basis points. But these proved ineffective and monetary policy remained loose overall in the first half of the year. The Washington-based lender also said about 7.1 million poor Nigerians would become poor if the federal government failed to compensate or provide palliatives for them following the removal of fuel subsidy. About 25 states in Nigeria have suffered a shortage fall in internally generated revenue and struggle with cash crunch in the first quarter of 2023. The data obtained from the budget implementation report of each state showed that 25 states earned 182.26 billion naira in the first quarter of 2023. This was a shortfall of 3.07% or 5.77 billion naira from the 188.03 billion naira made in the fourth quarter of 2022 based on a quarter-by-quarter analysis. Although there are 36 states in Nigeria, Rivers and Sokoto have no data for the first quarter of 2023 yet. Akwa Ibom has no data for the first quarter of 2022, while Kwara, Edo, Kaduna, Lagos, Bauchi, Zamfara, Yobe, and Ogun have no data for fourth quarter of 2022. VOPTV Business Desk findings showed that the 25 states projected an IGR of 290.56 billion naira for the first quarter of 2023, but only made about 182.26 billion naira, which means that they had a revenue performance of 83.01%. This also means that the revenue underperformed by 16.99% as it failed to hit the state revenue target. However, the state recorded an increase in revenue by 30.34% from 139.83 billion naira recorded in the first quarter of 2022. The federal government is set to make about 12 billion naira a year from the 1,000 naira proof of ownership certificate verification fee motorists are to pay. Last week, the Permanent Secretary of Lagos Ministry of Transportation, Abdulhafiz Toriola, disclosed this. He stated that this certificate would help vehicle owners and the government assure the integrity of all vehicles registered on the National Vehicle and Identification Scheme database and track car theft and recovery of stolen vehicles. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, there were 11.76 million vehicles in Nigeria as of the second quarter of 2018, and the vehicle per population ratio was put at 0.6 for the period. for the period. Per various reports, Nigerians imports about 400,000 vehicles annually. A report by VOPTV Business Desk recently stated that a total of 192,287 vehicles were imported through the ports and terminal multipurpose limited into the country in the first 10 months in 2021, while only 140,150 vehicles came through said terminal in the same period of 2022. Mr. Toriola stated that the proof of ownership certificate will serve as official documents for a vehicle's legal ownership. He said the POC will obtain vital information, including the vehicle's registration detail, such as license number plates, model, year of manufacture, in addition to the owner's name and address. He added that Lagos would begin collection of POC fees from the beginning of July. Other states are yet to make their position known yet. Mixed reactions have trailed this move to the government, and the fiscal policy partner and African tax leader at PwC, Taiwo Oyedele, has stated that the tax is retrogressive, ill-conceived, and poorly designed. Oyedele further stated that the tax should be set aside in the interest of good order and to prevent setting a bad precedence. Mr. Okechukwu Unegbu, a financial expert, also a past president of the Chartered Institute of Bank of Nigeria, has called on the Central Bank of Nigeria to check the multiplicity of service charge by deposit money banks in an interview yesterday in Abuja. According to him, banks no longer empathize with their customers, as was the case in the past. Unegbu said that the mission of any bank should be to serve its customers without expecting any favors. According to him, in the past, the only charges that the bank imposed on their customers were the commission on turnover and interest payment on loans, which were strictly regulated by the CBN. Reports stipulate that many Nigerians have complained about the multiple unexplained charges being deducted from their bank accounts. According to findings, however, there are specific bank charges approved by the CBN. Electronic funds transfer charges, 15 naira for transactions done above 50,000 naira, 25 naira for 5,000 to 50,000, and 10 naira charge for below 5,000. The charge on automatic teller machines withdrawals from other banks' ATM is 35 naira for the third withdrawal within the same month. Card maintenance fee, 4 naira debit and credit cards linking to savings account attract a minimum of 50 naira quarterly maintenance fee, while foreign currencies demonetized debit and credit cards attract $10. The charge for the hardware token is subject to cost recovery up to maximum charge of 2,500 naira. According to the CBN, the insurance fee for these cards are 1,000 naira, one-off charge, irrespective of the card type, either regular or premium card. The same charge applies for a replacement or renewal. Other approved charges are status inquiry and the requests of customers, like confirmation letter, embassy letter, reference letter, letter of indebtedness and non-indebtedness, which attracts a rate of 500 naira per request. The fee for the short message service mandatory alert is based on cost recovery for the previous maximum charge of 4 naira. Bill payment via e-channels will attract a minimum charge of 500 naira from 0.75% of the transaction value, subject to a minimum of 1,200 naira. The special request for statement of a bill of account is 200 naira. The CBN warned that any financial institution that breaches any of the provisions contained in the guide will pay a penalty of 2 million naira per infraction, or as may be determined by the CBN from time to time. The Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers Lagos chapter has advocated the use of liquefied gas to promote more sustainable environment in the country. It made this call at a recent business luncheon themed LPG in Nigeria with the focus on refilling plant. The former chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ikeja branch, Akintayo Akintola, said the advantage of liquefied gas was the absence of gas flaring, leading to an unconducive environment. He said once flaring stops, it gives us an end product of a safer and cleaner environment. Also, the flaring gas would be converted into sustainable revenue for Nigeria. This is what is being used all over the world. If gas can be compressed into liquid form under high pressure with the enablement of dispensing, it would go a long way. According to him, instead of wasting the gas by flaring it, gas can be liquefied, thereby generating more revenue for the government. The Chief Executive Officer of Fox JV Nigeria Limited, Anselm Olawoye, said liquefied petroleum gas was hydrocarbon fuel gas mixture of propane and butane that burn in the presence of air, oxygen, to produce heat energy for everyone's activity. It belongs to the group of non-renewable fossil fuel formed over millions of years due to the decomposition of plant and animal remains. The prolonged foreign exchange scarcity, inflation, among others, have been negatively affected the Nigerian economy and the capital market. This is according to the Domestic and Foreign Portfolio Investment Report of Nigerian Exchange Limited for the month of May 2023. However, the securities market hit the biggest single-day gain in 2 years, rising by 5.23% on May 29, or as investors reacted positively to President Bola Tinubu's decision to discontinue the fuel subsidy regime of the previous administration. Tinubu also stated that his administration would be targeting a higher gross domestic product growth, creating jobs, work towards a unified exchange rate, and ensure that investors and foreign businesses repatriate their dividends and profits home. This resonated positively amongst investors, as the total value of transactions executed by domestic investors overperformed transactions executed by foreign investors by 70%. Further analysis of the total transaction executed between the current and prior month, April 2023, revealed that total domestic transactions increased by 56.37% from the 182.74 billion naira in April to 285.76 billion naira in May 2023. Similarly, total foreign transactions increased significantly by 338.72% from 8.47 billion naira, that's about $18.31 million, to 37.16 billion naira, that's about $79.88 million between April 2023 and May 2023. Over a 16-year period, domestic transactions decreased by 45.30% from the 3.556 trillion in 2007 to 1.949 945 trillion naira in 2022, whilst foreign transactions also decreased by 38.47% from 616 billion naira to 379 billion naira over the same period. Also, total domestic transactions stood at 945.02 billion naira, whilst total foreign transactions closed the month under review at 99.34 billion naira. Point of sale, popularly known as POS agents in Lagos State, will soon begin to charge customers 500 naira for 10,000 naira cash withdrawals. This is after the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria, Lagos chapter, announced a new price list for POS transactions on Channels Television's Business Morning program by the Public Relations Officer, Lagos chapter, Stephen Adeoye, on Friday. He further stated that for deposits and transfers, agents can now charge 100 naira for 1,000 naira to 4,900 naira, 200 naira for 5,000 naira to 10,900 naira, 300 naira for 11,000 naira to 20,900 naira, and 400 naira got 21,000 to 30,900 naira, and 500 naira for 31,000 naira to 40,000 naira, and 600 naira for 41,100 naira to 50,000 naira. Adeoye said the chairman of the Lagos chapter of the association, David Abiodun, released the new price list to excos at the symposium. He noted that the purpose of the list was to curb the activities of agents that are still overcharging their customers. Commenting on how the association intends to enforce its price list, the PRO states that it will leverage its relationship with the police and a task force in their area of operations. In January, National President AMMBAN Victor Olojo told the Punch that the association did not have any plans to increase its service charges. In February, the Central Bank of Nigeria released emergency telephone numbers where Nigerians could report POS agents charging above 200 naira for withdrawals of amounts up to 10,000 naira. The federal government spent $62.66 million to service railway-related debts in the first quarter of 2023, according to Nigerian's External Debt Service Payments report by the Debt Management Office. Between January and March 2023, the Nigerian Railway Modernization Project Idu-Kaduna section took $23.1 million. The Nigerian Railway Modernization Project Lagos-Ibadan section gulped $15.49 million. VOPTV Business Desk also learned that the Nigerian Abuja Light Rail Project gulped $24.07 million. The total amount spent in the first quarter of 2023 is a slight increase in the $1.73 million spent in the first quarter of 2023. The rise in railway debt servicing cost occurred as the government struggled to generate revenue from the railway sector. The National Bureau of Statistics disclosed that rail transportation passengers declined by 53.65% from 953,099 in the first quarter of 2022 to 441,725 in the first quarter of 2023. The statistics body noted that a total of 59,969 tons of goods were transported in the first quarter of 2023 compared to the 39,379 tons tones reported in the same quarter of 2022. In terms of revenue generation, 700,068.44 million naira was received from passengers over the period, a decrease of 63.02% relative to the 2.08 billion naira in the same quarter of the previous year. That's all on the VOP Business Show on VOP TV. We would like you to subscribe and engage us on YouTube and its Voice of the People TV, and on all the social channels VOP at VOP TV Live. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Joy Iromoseli.